Okay, hello everyone, I am Kay King and today we're going to be using Illustrator to create a crocodile egg. Right, so first of all I've got my colour palette just down the side here, so these are the colours that we're going to be using today. So first of all, what I'd like to do is just open up the tools and get out the Eclipse tool. Use your eye finder and we'll just select this top one here because that's going to be our egg. But we also want to have a stroke on this, so I've got to double click on there and there we go. At the top of the screen you'll see you've got your stroke points here, so we're just going to give that 2 for the moment, see how we go. Go back to our Eclipse tool and create the first of our egg shapes. There we go. Now what we'll want to do next is maybe add a bit of shading to the bottom there, so I'm going to highlight my egg, hold Alt and just drag 2 of the eggs across there. Now this second one, I'm going to use my eyedropper tool and I'm just going to choose this middle blue here, and so it should change the colour and also take away the stroke there. And then I'm just going to bring this down here a little bit, because this third egg will actually use as a cutout guide. So if I bring that down to there, possibly make it a tiny bit wider, and as you can see there's the egg behind without the stroke, that should be behind this front egg when you highlight it still. So when you do click shift and highlight this front egg, they should look like that, and you can use your pathfinder tool, use the minus front shape, and that will just get rid of that front egg there. So this egg from behind without the stroke, we could just drag around to here, and then that's a bit of shading there on our egg. So sometimes you might need to just give it a tiny bit of a prod just to kind of get it into position a bit more. And you can even make it a tiny bit smaller as well. That'll do for now. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lock this layer, because this is our egg layer. There isn't much else we can do to it at the moment, so I'm going to lock it just there and lock my colour palette as well. And I'm just going to open up a new layer by clicking on that button, and then we can start designing our crocodile. So the next thing to do would be to hold your pen tool and just from the back of the egg, just going to create a triangular shape, just like so. Now back to the egg, and then just around like that. Now whilst it's still highlighted, I can click my eyedropper tool and just go onto this one here, and that will be the colour of our crocodile. So if I go back to selection, you can see this is now in front of the egg. Obviously in the layers, if I drag that one down, it instantly goes behind, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to add a bit of shading to this tail as well. So just like before, hold your Alt key, drag that across, and do that one twice, so that we can do a similar thing with the shading. Now with this one selected, we'll use the eyedropper tool and we'll just go for this darker green here and just bring that across, put that on the top. Just like so. And again, like before, hold the bottom, highlight the top, and then minus the front, just like that. And that should simply just slot exactly where you wanted it. And that shape there, possibly down slightly, just like so. And the next thing we want to do is maybe add a bit of character to the tail there. So if we go back to our pen tool, we'll zoom in slightly. You should just be able to quite simply click, drag down, drag back up, and there we have a slight little tail there. So if we click that one, hold our Alt, that should just be repeated, just up the tail just a little bit. And the last ones, they might just need to be tilted just slightly, just so they fit in line a little bit better, like so. Zoom back out for you. Right, now the next thing that we could do is use a head coming out of the egg to make it look like he's breaking through. So we could use an eclipse tool, and with this we're actually going to use a colour which isn't in the palette, which is good to use this black there. Swap that over, get rid of the stroke, and this will be what's used for the nose to come out of. So if we just create a black shape like that, and I'm actually going to use a star shape for this as well, just to give it the extra bit of impact. So just create something like that, drag that in front. You might need to just alter it slightly just to get it to look a bit more open. If you use your sub-selection tool, you can just drag some of the points out slightly, just so they look a bit more natural. Just like so. You could maybe even change the shape again slightly if you wanted. But there we go. And I'm just going to drag that around there. But as you can see, because it's behind the egg, obviously it won't be shown. So you come over to your layers, and using your shift key you can just choose those two shapes that you've just made, and we're going to create a new layer, and we're just going to pop those just right in that layer there and make sure that it's at the top. So we have our tail, our egg, and then our broken egg at the top there. And you might just want to rename these like so. And then we'll just create one more layer, and this will be the head of the crocodile. So the next thing we want to do is use our pen tool again. Ensure that our darker green is selected for this one. We also want to give it a stroke as well, so just there we go. Choose the pen tool again, and this is from the top here. I just want to use from like this side here, drag that out slightly, drag it out again, bring that back to here, and then curl it round here. So that should be the same green as your shading there, which is what we wanted. So if we come off that, you can see that we've got this weird shape, but we've also got a white stroke there, so we just need to make sure that we select the right one, just to give us our definition there. And we need to create the bottom of the drawer. So we just choose here, perhaps go past that first bit, and actually going to, if you can see that, just create some nostrils there for our poor friend. There we go, add that up on this side, and then again just use your Bezier curve just to curl that round slightly. Whilst it's selected as well, we can change the colour, make it a bit of a lighter texture there, and again make sure that we've got some stroke on there. And there we have a bit of a nose. If I just pull that out slightly, there we go. And we might just want to put some nostrils in there, so just go back to our eclipse tool. We'll just get rid of the stroke here again and just have the circle. So when you just drag like so, you've just got two nice little nostrils like that. Next thing we want to do possibly is to give him some fangs. So by using the pen tool and having a stroke with no fill, we can just come to the bottom here and create a big tooth. What we could actually do is give him a fill of the same colour as the egg so that you could possibly see it a little bit more. So if we hold our Alt key down and pull that across, we can just bend them slightly. Just pull it out a bit. And if it's just not joining up, you can use your selection tool and just drag that down, just so it does fit in his mouth a tiny bit better. Like so. Now, just like we've done with the tail there, we just want to give the nose just a tiny bit more to kind of go along with. So we'll just choose our pen tool here again, use our darker green, and just on the side here do what we did before. Just give the crocodile some shapes there. Again, you might just want to shorten the last one slightly. Right, so I'm actually not happy with that bit there, and I think it needs to be a bit smaller, so I'm just going to drag that around slightly. I'm going to lock that layer so I can't click on it accidentally, and just bring that over slightly, because I think that sits in there a tiny bit better. And I've also noticed that with the tail it doesn't have a stroke on it. It looks quite silly with the nose having a stroke, so I'm going to unlock that, and on this just give it a little bit of an outline there, but perhaps not on that one. There we go. Now the last thing I think that we need to do is to possibly give the bottom of the egg a bit of a shadow. So we'll lock all of our layers, create one more layer, just bring that to the bottom there. We'll just call that one shade. We'll choose our ellipse tool. Along the bottom we'll just drag that out. And we'll actually choose a grey for this one. But it's far too big, so we'll just shorten that down. Put that there like so, maybe tilt it slightly. And using the transparency button here, I'm just going to reduce that slightly, just so it looks more like a shadow. And there we go, there is our crocodile egg.